For weeks, Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has been taking a figurative chainsaw to the federal workforce, but his controversial role in the Trump administration may be nearing its end.
I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run, and so at some point he's going to be going back. Hey, Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here.
Welcome to Bonie's View. This is Tiffany, and this is My Take, Episode 4. Today we're diving into a fascinating story about the power dynamics within President Trump's administration. It's a tale of a MAGA power struggle, this time between Elon Musk, who's leading Doge, and the cabinet members who are running their departments. But before we dive into this captivating battle, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Bonie's View as we're pushing for 500 subs. Let's get started. Trump has reportedly told his inner circle that Musk, 53, will be stepping back. Originally set to step down in May as a special government employee, he's now reportedly leaving ahead of schedule, if the circulating reports hold true. But stay tuned. This might just be another hit job by the left-leaning media, and I'm going to show you exactly why. The president has consistently reassured the public of his satisfaction with the first buddy in his work. However, with the defeat of a Musk-backed Supreme Court nominee adding to a string of setbacks, there's now a growing speculation that his time at the White House is up. The defeat of Republican-backed Judge Brad Schimmel dealt a blow to Musk, who had been both a vocal supporter and a financial backer of his campaign. Schimmel lost to Democrat-backed Judge Susan Crawford, despite Musk's high-profile campaign, which included writing million-dollar checks to 2 Wisconsin voters at a pre-election event. Elon and affiliated groups invested over $20 million to support conservative candidate Brad Schimmel in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. Despite this substantial financial backing, liberal Judge Susan Crawford secured a decisive victory on Tuesday, maintaining the court's 4-3 liberal majority. Some GOP analysts attributed the loss to Musk's increasingly polarizing persona. But blaming Musk for the election defeat isn't entirely fair. This election came right on the heels of the Signal War Plans group chat controversy, and regardless of where you stand, that wasn't a good look. Naturally, the media ran with it, likely stirring panic among some Wisconsin voters and pushing them to vote blue. But before the Wisconsin election fallout, the mainstream media and the Democrats have been pushing a narrative that the Trump administration is in chaos, claiming there's a rift between first buddy Elon Musk and the cabinet heads. They argue that Musk has been taking a wrecking ball approach since being appointed head of the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. To shut down the speculation, Trump held a cabinet meeting to address the issue, instructing Musk to focus on making recommendations while leaving the actual cuts to the cabinet heads. Musk, who has been shaking up the federal government through his role in DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, had been making waves with massive firings across departments and even threatening to bring out his chainsaw to cut bureaucracy. But Trump seems to have had enough of the rough approach and decided to bring a little finesse to the table, opting for a scalpel instead of a hatchet. In an impromptu cabinet meeting, Trump laid down the law. He told his top officials that they needed to be more surgical with their decisions, and that the cabinet secretaries, not Musk, were ultimately in charge of personnel cuts. Scalpel, not hatchet, he said, urging precision in the firing process. Now, let's be clear. Trump didn't completely shut Musk out. Far from it. Musk was still given a role in offering recommendations, but the final say was going to rest with the department heads. Musk, it seems, is better at teaching cost-cutting than implementing it directly. Musk's efforts through DOGE had initially been positioned as a way to root out waste and improve efficiency in government. But his attempts to directly influence staff decisions, like sending that now infamous "what did you do last week" email to federal workers, caused some significant frictions. To me, there's nothing wrong with the email, but I could also see how Trump's cabinet members would feel that Doge sending the email diminishes their roles in their various departments. Speculation has also swirled around Musk's reported clashes with the president's chief of staff. The saying goes, behind every great man is a woman, and in the president's case, there are several. But perhaps none is as crucial to his operation as Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who is rumored to have butted heads with Musk. One of Wiles's frustrations reportedly stemmed from Musk's failure to keep her in the loop regarding his plans to overhaul federal agencies. According to Vanity Fair, she encouraged Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other cabinet members to take their grievances about Musk directly to the president after they had initially come to her to vent. The relationship between Trump and Musk has always been an intriguing one. Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur, has gained unprecedented access and influence within the Trump administration. From speaking engagements to direct involvement in government reform, Musk has been a constant presence. But with Trump's new stance, it seems the power dynamic is shifting. As expected, left-leaning media outlets pounced on this, claiming that Musk once had Trump's ear on nearly every major decision, but is now playing second fiddle to cabinet heads. They openly speculated on how Musk would react to Trump's directive. Would he settle for an advisory role or attempt to reclaim his influence? But they were dead wrong, as always. He's been content ever since that meeting, and let's be honest, he has nothing to gain from being in the White House, but everything to lose. If you doubt that, just look at the relentless attacks on Tesla from the left. It's clear he hasn't immersed himself in Trump's administration for personal gain. His goal is simply to help, even if his passion sometimes gets the best of him. I don't think he's intentionally trying to step on anyone's toes, but egos are at play here, and Trump is doing his best to balance everyone's perspective. While Elon still has Trump's ear, it's clear that Trump is the one calling the shots, regardless of what the mainstream media may want you to believe. Musk's efforts through Doge have been crucial, uncovering waste and corruption while identifying ways to root them out and improve government efficiency. Despite the tensions, MAGA remains united. After all, it's only natural when you have so many brilliant minds, or should I say, alphas, working together. At one point during the meeting, Trump asked if anyone was unhappy with Elon, with Musk present, and it resulted in an outburst of laughter.
I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy? They have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled.
Come on, Mr. President, like they would say that publicly. Elon's pockets are so deep they'd rather be allies with him than enemies, especially when preparing for a future presidential run. But seriously, the left and the lamestream media might want to see cracks and chaos, but as we can clearly see, there's no trouble in MAGA land. Democrats are pushing resolutions in the House Oversight Committee, demanding documents on Musk's involvement in firing decisions and possible conflicts of interest. But frankly, it's just politics. They're grasping at straws. Meanwhile, lawsuits from unions and advocacy groups are challenging Doge's broad cuts to the federal workforce. Who said draining the swamp was going to be easy? We'd be naive to think there wouldn't be resistance from the old guard. The left and the lamestream media are accusing the White House of being unclear on who's actually running Doge. While Trump has consistently referred to Musk as the leader of the group, the White House has emphatically stated that he doesn't hold any formal authority. The truth is, they don't want the discoveries to come to light because it'll vindicate Trump and harm the Democrats in the midterm elections. Trump and Musk have held multiple press conferences and are always ready to answer questions, but it's not really about seeking clarity for the left. It's about pushing a narrative designed to win over the American people. They don't seem to be doing a great job at that, though. In a recent NBC poll, when asked whether creating Doge was a good or bad idea, 46% of Americans said it was a good idea, 40% said it was bad, and 13% didn't have an opinion. A majority of voters had a strong opinion. 40% said Doge was strongly a good idea, while 37% said it was strongly a bad idea. Even though it's a slim majority, this is still bad news for the Democrats. In their desperation, the left hasn't abandoned their efforts to stir division within Trump's White House, just like they did during his first term. However, this time around, there are no establishment insiders in the administration. Trump has appointed his own people to key positions, which is why we're not seeing leaks, mass resignations, or chaos like we did previously. Despite this, left-leaning media outlets have been relentlessly pushing a false narrative about a supposed rift between Elon Musk and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. During Trump's recent press conference with FIFA President Gianni Infantino at the White House about the upcoming 2026 World Cup, co-hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, NBC and other left-wing outlets couldn't stop pressing on this made-up story instead of focusing on the World Cup. Even as President Trump shut them down, telling them enough, they continued to push their baseless questions.
Mr. President, since you last spoke about it yesterday, some details have come out about your cabinet meeting with Elon Musk and some clashes potentially between Secretary Rubio and Secretary...
No clash. I was there. You're just a troublemaker. And you're not supposed to be asking that question because we're talking about the World Cup. Elon gets along great with Marco, and they're both doing a fantastic job. There is no clash.
Mr. President, bottom line...
Who are you with? Who are you with?
NBC.
Oh, no wonder. That's enough. NBC.
Just on the cabinet meeting, you said Musk will play an advisory role, Doge will play...
We're talking about FIFA. Thank you very
About
much.
the World Cup, Mr. President, you're having...
And they're both great guys. And by the way, they both get along fantastically well. Marco has done unbelievably as Secretary of State. And Elon is a very unique guy who's done a fantastic job.
Do you think he needs to be reined in, Mr. President?
Enough. It's FIFA.
It's clear that while the left and the media try to spin the narrative that Musk is running the government, he's simply there to help reshape it, getting rid of unnecessary waste and bureaucracy. Ultimately, it's Trump who's calling the shots. The power struggles between Musk and the cabinet members are normal and to be expected. Trump has firmly asserted his control, and despite the noise, there's no storm brewing. The news of Elon Musk's exit has fueled speculation about a possible rift with Donald Trump. But let's be real, that's nonsense. His departure was always expected due to federal regulations that limit special government employees to a maximum of 130 consecutive days. Anything beyond that would require Senate confirmation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt shut down the rumors on X, formerly Twitter, calling out Politico Capital Bureau Chief Rachel Badd for her so-called inside scoop. Leavitt responded bluntly stating, "This scoop is garbage." She further clarified, Musk and President Trump have both publicly stated that Elon will depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work at Doge is complete. Trump himself reinforced this during a Monday Oval Office briefing, telling reporters, "At some point, he's going to be going back. I'll keep him as long as I can keep him. He's a very talented guy."
I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run, and so at some point he's going to be going back.
Musk, too, acknowledged the 130-day limit in a recent Fox News interview with Brett Baer, stating, "I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame." Even before Trump took office, Musk had hinted at his temporary role, famously stating that the final step of Doge is to delete itself. Additionally, there has been growing pressure from Tesla's board to address the impact of political attacks on the brand. So, when you put all the facts together, it's clear. His departure has little, if anything, to do with the election outcome. And there you have it, folks. Trump makes his move in the MAGA power struggle as Elon Musk puts down the chainsaw and leaves federal cuts to the cabinet. Be sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to Bonie's View for more updates. We're aiming for 500 subs, and your support means the world to us. Until next time, stay tuned and keep it real.